Hello everyone, welcome to day 2, another class of AI Everyday Virtual Bootcamp brought to you by Data Science Nigeria. Today's class will focus on starting your AI or data science journey with Data Science 101. We have the top data science experts who will take us on the journey from absolute beginner to professional level. Before I formally introduce our speaker, let me take a few minutes to share a bit about Data Science Nigeria and discuss how we support skill building in data science. Data Science Nigeria is the largest AI learning platform in Africa. Our vision is to raise 1 million AI talents in 10 years. As part of our role in democratizing AI knowledge and also fulfilling our vision to develop 1 million AI talents in Nigeria, Data Science launched a book titled The Beginner's Artificial Intelligence and Python Programming for Primary and Secondary School. This book is designed to help students and adult beginners understand the basic concepts of AI and also to encourage skill development from a very young age. This book was written by our founder and lead mentor, Dr. Olubayo Adekombi. The book was distributed for free at various teachers and student training capacity building programs to help them understand the curriculum and how to apply it to their learning in schools. These are pictures from the teachers training programs and also this capacity building program. The book is written in a simple and animated format to help anyone to read and understand the content of the book. It is a very simple book and the first of its kind in Africa, where data science and artificial intelligence knowledge is written in a very easy to understand format for students in primary and secondary schools. You can get copies of this book on Amazon, on Apple iBook, on Google Play, and also on Jumia. The AI Everyday class is a program designed by Data Science Nigeria to ensure AI training goes on across the various locations in Nigeria every day of the week. There are so many activities that happen on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday every week. And these are the programs that we've put together as our AI Everyday class. The pre-university machine learning program and Python class is also part of our AI Everyday class, and this holds every Wednesdays and Thursday. You can see pictures of our AI, the machine learning and Python programming class for pre-university students here. The AI Summer School is a free summer school for kids to learn the basic concepts of AI, and they are introduced to Python programming and machine learning and robotics. We have also organized this summer school for a leading bank in Nigeria, Access Bank Nigeria, at the African FinTech Foundry Hub, Victoria Island, Lagos. These are pictures from the AI summer school organized for Access Bank. Our corporate trainings and AI for executive programs. Our corporate trainings are designed for corporate professionals who want to learn how to apply data science and AI to their industries. One of our most popular training is the Business Analytics and Introduction to Data Science for Professional, which is a very good course for beginners in data science. We also run bespoke corporate trainings for organizations, and over the years we've trained organizations like Shell, AXA Mansard, FCMB, Millward Brown, Philips Consulting, IHS, Huawei, just to mention a few. We also have a program called the AI for Executive Program, which is designed to demystify the concept of AI for top 100 leaders across Nigeria and show them how they can apply the concept of AI to solve problems for their organizations. To learn more about our trainings and our corporate programs, you can visit our website at datasciencenigeria.org/new trainings. Before we go into the class, let us watch a video from the attendees of our past professional training.
The focus, the vision of DSN, I identify with it. I mean, it's something I can relate with, the vision of wanting to create a hub for data scientists in West Africa. I mean, it's something that is highly needed. You look at India and how it has become hub of IT. Even people from North America, I mean, including the US, go to India for medical. So I look at a situation where, as set by the sponsors of DSN, I mean those behind DSN, the focus of wanting to, I think there's a target probably by 2025 or 2030, wanting to have at least 1 million data scientists from Nigeria. I mean, it's something laudable, it's something everyone should identify with. If I were among those making decisions in this country, this is something we also want to, plug into and see how to make life better for Nigerians. 5 weeks have been wonderful. They've been insightful. They've been exciting. They've been invigorating. They've been challenging. They've been provoking thoughts in me. Today we did data visualization, dealt extensively with Power BI. There's a whole lot I can do with it. Things that we've been trying to analyze, I can now visualize it and it will make more sense to my audience. So for me, DSN, the vision, is something that every forward-looking Nigerian should identify with.
I heard about data science from a friend who also just completed a program with you guys, and you really had a very good experience. So I was encouraged as I was starting my journey in data analysis. So I was encouraged to come, and today was eye-opening. So far so good. It has been a wonderful one. I was able to learn the use of data to interpret data, to predict the future definitely. And also I was able to, understand the essence of the data, the raw data we have currently. And I would definitely encourage anyone to come here to learn about that.
You can download our 2018 to 2019 reports on the link below. You can also visit our website, datasciencenigeria.org, or send us an email if you have questions or you want to make inquiries about any of our programs at info@datasciencenigeria.org. You can follow us on our social media platform on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. It's day 2. Let's welcome our speaker once again. Our speaker for today is Dotun Opasina. Dotun will be taking us on the topic step-by-step introduction to data science for absolute beginners and professionals. Let's talk about, let me introduce you to Dotun. Dotun is the CEO of Dotun USA. Dotun was a data science intern at JC Madigan, trained at Metis Data Science Bootcamp. He was an ex-software engineer at Goldman Sachs USA, and he holds an MSc Engineering Management from Johns Hopkins University, USA. Join me as I welcome Dotun, our speaker for today. Thank you very much.
Hello there. Welcome to Data Science 101 Part 2. My name is Dotun Opasina, and I'm the CEO of Dotun Data. I'm really glad to have you back, and I hope you're keeping safe this COVID-19. So let's get straight into it. I'm really excited. So in the last class, we defined data science and its impact. We looked at the different paths to become a data scientist, and we explored the data scientist process. So this course is actually a 2-part series, whereby the first part was the beginning intro to data science, and this second part we're going to be continuing from our discussion. So if you've not seen the video, I would really urge you to go back and check it out because it's really good. So we also evaluated technologies that are used in data science and discussed the different aspects of technologies that are used. We explored some machine learning algorithms that were used there. It was not too technical, but it was just to give you a bit of an understanding into machine learning and how it plays in data science. We also learned about data science being the sexiest job in the 21st century and the reasons why. So in this class, we're going to be continuing from where we stopped. So here we'll be looking at data science and business. We'll be exploring different use cases of data science. We'll actually be looking through 6 different applications of data science. So it's going to be exciting. And finally, I promise to give data science resources as you begin your data science journey. So we have a section dedicated to different resources as a data scientist and how to begin this journey. So we're going to be going into data science and business. So looking at the different roles that data science plays, how it applies to different businesses and the impact that it does make within those businesses. So the first question we should ask is, how should customers get started in data science? So how do different companies, how should they begin their data science journey? Well, the first thing, they need to realize the importance of data, right? They need to realize the reason why they need to have data. There's also an article in The Economist that talks about the most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. So data is the new oil. And what that means is that a valuable data set brings valuable returns to the company. And again, it is the most valuable resource of the company. And it affects different bottom lines, affects the revenue that the company makes, affects the level of customers that the companies can acquire by having the right amount of data. So in terms of also getting started in data science, companies need to realize they have to have a team dedicated to data science and analytics. And this team needs to be engaged in different areas of data science. And the team needs to be comprised of people from the computer science background, statistics, people interested in data visualization and data analysis, and not just one person assigned to data. So they have to think about it as a team. It has to be a real investment and an intentional investment towards data, because that has a positive impact on the company. And by having the right team, you're able to create very good results. So a company also has to have a great data strategy for capturing data, right? There have to be things in place to be able to capture this data. They must be able to measure data and acquire the type of data that is being collected. So they need to know the type of data that they're collecting, be able to store particular metrics on this information, and provide useful insight of this data. It's also very important to properly store the data. And also, we discussed this in the last class, basically realizing that this data needs to be clean. So not just storing dirty, random, unimportant, not useful data, but data that is going to be useful to the company. So companies also need to realize that data never gets old, right? If you look at the different information that we're reading today, if you look at scripts in the Bible, for instance, or if you look at like different countries' constitutions that have lasted for generations and for different years, what we realize is that like this is information, this is data. And within every year, within every generation, that data is described differently. So we get like different insight from that data based on our experiences, based on the kind of questions we ask. Companies must also realize and learn to archive data for years to come, right? So they must be willing to store their data for many years and many, many years. They should also realize that like new insights can be drawn, right? It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be next year, it could be 10 years from now, right? Like a perfect example is we're going through COVID-19. The amount of information we're collecting now would be useful in the future in terms of like understanding different pandemics and how to properly prepare for them. So companies need to have a consistent way of storing their data. They also have to have proper documentations on how their data is being stored. And the reason why this is important is because of longevity, right? So you want people to be able to draw values from that information that you've stored, even when you're no longer there. So it's very important to have proper documentation of this information. Companies also need to be cognizant of storing data in a way that it's quickly accessed, right? Especially in this realm of big data. You don't want to spend too much time waiting on retrieving your data. You want a quick way to be able to access that data, get to the information that you want immediately, and get the insights that you want. So these are a couple of companies using big data today, right? We have Amazon, we have Facebook, General Electric, Netflix, Starbucks, Uber, IBM. And these different companies use data in different ways. And they've been able to see a great impact on their revenue, on their user base, based on the way they've been able to analyze data, been able to draw information from them. And it's not surprising that all these companies have data science teams that constantly crunch the numbers, constantly evaluate the data, constantly store the data, and constantly draw insight from the data. So this is exciting times. So let's go into discussing about people that are trying to recruit for data scientists. So if you're a person trying to recruit for data scientists, one thing you need to realize is that the team, the data science team, is the main component for building the data science expertise in a company. So the quality of people that are hired determine the quality of the results that is being made and the quality of work that is being done. So when thinking about recruiting a data scientist, you have to properly understand the importance of the team. So this is just a Venn diagram describing the different functions of a data scientist. But I don't want you to think about this as one individual person needs to have this, but instead think about it as a team. So within the team, you need to have someone that is really good with data, all right? You need to have someone that can properly account for information, analyze data, crunch numbers, run statistics, models on the information. You need to have people that are business savvy, at the same time, technical savvy. And finally, these people need to be able to communicate the information to an end user. So this link below, you can see more on how to grow a data science team. So another tip for recruiting data scientists is to know what area of the field, of data science field, you're trying to recruit from. Right. So we have artificial intelligence, right, whereby it focuses around the tasks that humans and computers can do. It figures out ways of performing social and transactional creative work. So you need to be able to realize that, okay, I'm hiring for an artificial intelligence data science team, and you go out to do that. Another team that you could hire for are the natural language processing team. So these are the people that deal with text information within data, right? So if you type into a form online, that information that you collect, there's a way to be able to analyze that information to see what customers are saying about you, what they're saying about a product. And we can also look at tweets, of social media posts. We can have a natural language processing team that can process information and figure out what is being said there. So AI and natural language processing are two different teams. And it would be very relevant to hire accordingly for those teams. Furthermore, you can hire for a machine learning team. And so these people deal with ways of analyzing machine learning algorithms that the company uses, or different models that the company uses. So this is a specific role within the data science team. And a recruiter needs to realize this to be able to focus on it in a useful manner. Also, going deeply into the AI machine learning field is a field called deep learning. And deep learning deals with a subfield of machine learning and data science called artificial neural networks. And so it's just a way of like taking our brain and being able to create that functionality within a computer. So if you're hiring for it, and this is a specialized skill set within machine learning, so you need to be able to recruit appropriately. Then finally, we need to think about recruiting for recommendation teams. So these are the people that deal with like your different recommendation system. And so a recommendation system is just like if you have if you buy a particular product and you get a recommendation that you might also be interested in other products, a recommendation team is in charge of that. And a couple of years ago, I read an article that Netflix did a competition whereby they wanted to give out $1 billion for anyone that could improve their recommendation engine by just a couple percentage. So this is a very challenging job. So you need to think about properly focusing on the areas that you're recruiting from and not just recruiting for data science for all. So another tip in terms of recruiting data people, data science people is one needs to be aware of the data roles, right? And be able to customize the job description for that role. So there's a data engineer, and this data engineer deals with infrastructures that are used for storing data. So in the last class, we talked about SQL being a way for people to store information, but there are actually teams of people that build out the systems. So data engineers are in charge of that. So they have skill set of having a programming language in like Java or Scala. They have experiences with databases, SQL and NoSQL databases, and frameworks like Apache, Hadoop. You also have a data analyst. And so data analyst is the most basic role within the data field. And so they analyze data to provide insights. So they have experiences in R and Python, in data wrangling, data visualization. Then we go to the data scientist. And so the data scientists actually use models. It's very important to know this. They actually use models, machine learning models, to draw insights from their data. And so the different skill set that they have is R, Python. They have experience in storytelling, data visualization, and big data. So generally, when thinking about recruiting for data scientists, data people, recruiters have to collaborate with managers, right? To be able to know their specific need and to be able to properly address those needs. They need to be able to iron out the nuances. Like I showed you, right? The different functionalities within the data science ecosystem. So recruiters need to be able to iron out the job description to be able to meet those requirements. And when building your data science team, recruiters need to think long term, right, about the team that they're creating. So knowing what skill set is needed now, but also what would be needed in the future as they build out these teams. Recruiters need to be able to set realistic expectations about available candidates. Why this is important is because this is also a new field that is blossoming. And so there are a lot more roles than candidates. So the recruiters need to make sure they recruit accordingly. So recruiters should also build a list of ideal candidates and work with the hiring manager to gauge if this person they want to recruit into the company fits the problem at hand. Because it's be interesting or it's be bad if you're recruiting for a natural language processing person, but you bring a data scientist that is just good with general machine learning algorithms, such as supervised and unsupervised learning. So it's really important to have this discussion so that the company can be prepared for the people they're recruiting for. So yeah, we're going to discuss about the final deliverable of a data science project. And so the reason why this discussion is actually going on is because I want you to be able to know what component is needed if you're building a data science project and how that can be valuable to your customers. And we're going to go into different examples. So one of the first deliverable, obviously, is the software code for the project. So usually your data science is coded in a programming language like Python and R. And it's important to be able to present this information some way. Obviously, having a form of presentation, such as a PowerPoint presentation like this one that we're doing right now, is key. Realizing the importance of data visualization in the project. And finally, you can take it further as even having an interactive website where your customers can come and try out different parameters to see how your model works. So in terms of the software code, we need to realize that the software code can be written in Python and R. As with every computer science understanding and background, it's important that this code is commented properly so it is easily understood. And this project, or this data science project, can be written in Markdown tools like R and Jupyter Notebook so that you can easily interact with it. And something to mention is that with your data science project, it's important that you're using proper software versioning tools, such as GitHub, whereby people can actually see your code live and you're building that portfolio online. So this is an example of a data science project that was written in Jupyter Notebook, right? And so, yeah, you can see that there are sub-headings, there's the actual code, there's the output. And it gives the audience a way of actually seeing the code behind the project. Another deliverable in the data science project ecosystem is the presentation. So the presentation analyzes the steps that's taken within the project. This is very important in communicating to the customers because they want to see the value of why they have invested their money in this project. It's important to quickly communicate to the audience the results and the solution that was being created. Especially if you're coming from a technical background and you're presenting to a more business, less technical background, it's important to focus more on the solutions rather than focusing on all the process, all the technicalities, all the code, because what customers care about at the end of the day is this information applicable? I would recommend that the presentations be scheduled for 5 minutes and shouldn't take longer than 5 minutes. So you can get straight to the point, and most of the presentation can be spent discussing about the problem, discussing about the solution, engaging the different customers that are interested in the project. And obviously, presentation tools like PowerPoint, Keynote, Google Slides can be used. So the data visualization component is really important for your data science project. Why? Well, a picture says more than 1,000 words. So being able to pictorially describe your data or your information is really key to getting the customers engaged. Also, modern day data visualization tools allow for customers to interact with the visualization. So for instance, data visualization tools like Tableau allows you ways to like interact, click on different subfields and see how the information plays out. And this is really important. So there's actually a backstory whereby back in the day in one of the companies I used to work for, investment bankers used Tableau as a tool. And what they found out is that when they went on the road and discussed with their different customers, they were a lot more engaged. They wanted to interact with the data. They wanted to see the information that was being provided to them. And they had a different level of interaction with the data than they did before. Also, data visualization allows data scientists to communicate their results to the audience in a very clear and concise way. So this is just an example of a data visualization, right? So here it shows life expectancy within certain continents in the world to the GDP per capita. And in this visualization, it shows like countries that have low life expectancy and also low GDP. And it shows regions with high life expectancies and high GDP per capita. So you can start seeing relationships easily when you have such presentation, right? And it's really useful for an audience to be able to draw valuable conclusions and valuable insights. So finally, thinking about an interactive website for your customers can be key, right? So it allows customers make predictions based on your models. It gives them a level of customization whereby they can interact with the information, change parameters, and see the result they get on the fly. And finally, from a technical perspective, it's actually not so complex. So it's not like you're actually going from scratch to build a website. In languages like Python, the actual libraries that deal with this for you, whereby you just work on your models and all of these things, and you just plug it into the library. So FlaxApp is an example of one of them. And it's really great. It's really easy. So I'll show you an example of how an interactive data science project website would look like using Flax. So this project here was something I actually built. So yeah, we're using Kickstarter information to be able to predict the probability of a campaign succeeding or not. And for those that don't know what Kickstarter is, it's a crowdfunding platform. So basically, it's a platform where people come to, bring their product to, and ask the general public to not invest, but like donate amount of money to it. So think about it for the person that is actually creating this campaign. What they would like to see, right? So they might want to change certain parameters such as like the name, change like a description of their product, change like the amount that they're raising, change like the numbers of days that they're trying to raise such money from, change like the categories. So yeah, I just want to show you an example of how that website works. So here goes. So in here, I can submit the information that I want to. Then it shows me like the probability of the campaign succeeding or not. I can change certain parameters, like certain fields, right? And that shows me the impact of that change on the information. And you can see immediately that we've given a level of interaction to the customer that they can be able to access with more knowledge than they wouldn't have previously if you just present it to them. So this is obviously like an optional level and it's an advanced level, but it's something to just keep in mind. So we'll go to different use cases for data science. And in here, we'll look at like 6 different use cases. I'm really excited for this class because it talks about like the actual application of data science in the field. And this is just to give you an example of some of the use cases for data science, but it goes a lot more. And we could spend like an entire course on just describing the different use cases for data science. So the fields we're going to be looking at here is real estate. We'll be looking at finance. We'll be looking at the social media space. We'll be looking at the retail industry. We'll be looking at sports analytics, and we'll be looking at healthcare. And in all of these fields, data science is being applied, and it's making a huge impact on it. And before data science, this information or this way of interacting with data was done by humans. So it was a long, archaic process, and it was more people that became experts within those like subfields that knew how to analyze that information. So the first project we're going to be looking at is within data science, within real estate. We're going to be trying to predict house prices using regression. This project, I actually worked on it myself. And so I took data from Zillow website. And so Zillow, it's a house listing website that has information on different features of the houses and the price associated with it. So for this project, I actually focused on looking at house prices within the Massachusetts area. And I tried to use regression to be able to predict the prices of those houses. So for this project, we collected data, and this data included the size and feet of the houses, the number of beds in the house, the number of baths, the location, and the price of this house. So based on the size and feet, the numbers of bed, the numbers of baths, and the location of the house, I tried to predict the price of the house using regression algorithms. And regression, like we mentioned in the last class, is a subfield of supervised learning, and it's just a way to train models using input to an output. So this was the data science process that was involved. We discussed also about this in the last class. We collected and cleaned data. This data was then passed into a machine learning algorithm. And from there, I evaluated the result that I got. Then I put the result on a website so people can actually interact with it. So for this project, I was able to predict house prices in the Massachusetts area using different regression algorithms. An insight that actually got from this project was the need to collect more data to be able to make my model better. And I also needed to improve my website. So I presented this to an audience and I got really good feedback from it. And this is just an example of how data science is used within real estate. So think about it, right? If you're someone that is actually looking to buy a house within an area, you can then come to my predictor, my website, and say, okay, if I have a number of beds that I want in mind, I have the size and fit that I want, right? I have the number of baths, and I know the location within the Massachusetts area that I want to live in. What kind of houses would I get? And usually this role is left to people within like real estate, right? People that sell houses and brokers that sell houses. But actually having a model that can do that for you is also really exciting. Another application of data science can be seen in finance. And example is using that for credit card fraud detection, using certain algorithms, classification algorithms. And I worked on this project as well. And so I gathered data from Kaggle. So Kaggle is a website that deals with data science project, and so many people work on projects to upload there. And so I was able to get data sets from their website. So this information dealt with an European bank that had a transaction of over 200,000 within certain hours in a day. And within this transaction, about 492 of them were fraudulent. The reason why I mentioned the number that were fraudulent is because within machine learning and data science, this provides a unique problem that the data scientists need to think about as they deal with the information and as they deal with the data. And so this is actually it's a field called imbalanced data. And so data scientists have to come up with mechanisms to address this problem. So this was the steps that I took. I downloaded the data set from Kaggle. I used Jupyter Notebook to explore the data to see how the data actually looked like. I split the information into the right input and output columns. I had to do some more data cleaning, data processing, so standard scaling, to remove certain biases within the data. Then I passed the data into classification algorithms to see how they performed on the results. And from there, I calculated the performance of my model. And so, yeah, just a step just to see how going from your raw data, you can actually get useful and meaningful outputs. So for this project, I was able to predict transactions as fraudulent or not. I was able to find the proper algorithm that performed well on the data set that I had. And it also gave me an insight into the problems that different banks, different credit card companies face, different financial technology companies actually face on a day-to-day basis. And for this project, a lot of big finance companies actually reached out to me just to see and discuss what I had learned from the project. So another application for data science is in social media. And within social media, there's so many ways that data science plays a role, but we're only going to deal with just one, just to give you an example. And this field is actually called sentiment analysis. And so sentiment analysis of social media data, social media posts such as like Twitter and Facebook, right? So it's a way of analyzing words within a sentence or within a post, within a tweet, to be able to determine the emotions behind that sentence. So is it a positive sentence? Is it a negative sentence, right? And this field is actually a subfield of natural language processing, since we are dealing here with text data. And so you can think about the different applications of this, right? So think about on your social media, if someone is like posting a lot of like negative things, saying a lot of like really hurtful things, it's easy to be able to say or like reach out to the administrators of the social media platform about what is going on based on the sentiment. And think about this. This could be going on all over the world. It would be good to have a great mechanism to analyze those sentiments behind the post. So like I said, right, sentiment analysis. So a customer can actually figure out what is being said about their product, right? If it's negative, if it's neutral, if it's positive, just based on proper ways of like analyzing this information to be able to get valuable results. So, like I said, sentiment analysis can be used to tell what people are saying about your product. They can be used to also measure like the health of a platform. For companies, it's a great way to receive feedback about what customers are actually saying on the product. And it's just not within social media that like sentiment analysis is being used. It's used in vast fields, but I just wanted to show you an example within the social media field. So another application of data science is within retail. Data science is great in retail, right? A specific example of data science algorithms used is the recommendation engine. So think about Amazon, Alibaba, Target, these big marketplaces where people come to buy products. They actually have recommendation engines that recommend products to customers based on what they've bought before. So it is a great way to filter information to predict a user's preference. So there's a great probability that if you're buying a cup of coffee, you might also be interested in a loaf of bread, right? So there are ways to be able to see those interactions within certain fields and certain products, that from there you can now create a recommendation engine from. So this is just an example of a website, right? So let's say you want to buy girls t-shirts. The website could also recommend that you might be interested in like girls' shoes, girls' jackets, girls' pants, girls' slippers, just based on like a search for girls' t-shirts. So what does this mean for the business, right? This means that recommendation system have helped companies increase their sales very, very much, right? Amazon credits about 35% of their revenue to recommender systems, right? So this is a very huge part of their business. And it also allows customers form habits in terms of returning back to the platform to use it. So an example is like if you go on a particular platform and say you want to buy a certain kind of book, and let's say you buy that book, in like a week or two, you might get recommendations of like through an email saying you might also like this other kind of books. And so that brings back a way for the customers to go on the platform to review these recommendations and see if they might be interested in purchasing. Also, a project that I'm really excited to share about of the application of data science is within sports. Last summer, I started watching the NBA, the National Basketball Association again. So a project I wanted to work on was to predict NBA player salaries based on their statistics, right? So think about the application of this. So it's a great way for players to know like what areas of their game to improve on, right? So if you know their stats and if you can say like, if you can improve these areas of your game, this is the impact it will have on your salary. It's an amazing way to be able to measure impact. It's also a great way to allow team managers to be properly informed when they're making players' contracts, right? So they can see the kind of players that have improved over the years and match that to the kind of funding or to the kind of contract they want to provide for the customer, to the player. So this was the process I took for the project. So I scraped and cleaned the Clader. I did some data engineering and feature engineering. I also tried to validate my model, and I did a prediction and evaluation. And the reason why I just showed this pyramid is just to show you the examples of how a data science project works, right? So you have these different areas to it, and it's just important to be able to conceptualize this information as you're going into your project. So the properties of this project was that I got the information from Basketball Reference, which was a basketball statistics website. And I scraped information of players and their statistics from 2017 to 2019. And I collected 20 unique statistics for each players. So this can be confusing, right? Think about an NBA player. If you're giving them 20 stats and say, oh, these are the 20 stats you need to improve on, well, it might be challenging for them to do that. But what if we can find a way to take those 20 stats and actually reduce them to about 5 statistics that they can improve on? So then you have like actionable steps that they can take. And in here, what we figured out is that we can actually do this using machine learning. So I was able to take the 20 statistics, unit statistics of the player, and reduce that to 5. And so those 5 included like the number of fouls the player had, the points per game they had, the number of minutes that they played, the number of rebounds, basketball rebounds that they had, and their age also determined a factor. So with this, you can actually give a player and say like, well, if you can improve on some of this, this can have an impact on the salary that you make. So it was a really exciting project for me. I loved it a lot. And being able to share the results with my audience was great. So for this project, I was able to help players and team managers better work together using a prediction model, so that when they're creating models, they can have a standardized ways to evaluate their impact. So finally, an application of data science that's really dear to my heart is healthcare. And so right now that we're dealing with COVID-19, I think it's even very paramount to discuss about data science within healthcare. So for this project, I will try to predict patients that will miss their appointment to a hospital. So they have set a particular date that they're supposed to come based on their condition. Is there a way we can evaluate if they would miss their appointment or not? And can we better prepare for that? So the data sets contain patient information, and it said whether they will miss the appointment or not. I use machine learning algorithm, obviously, to be able to take patients that were more likely to miss their appointments. So yeah, this is just a presentation of my or visualization of my results. So features that are red are customer features that are likely to miss an appointment, and features that are green are features that are of customers that are less likely to miss an appointment. So I'll just discuss about this a little. So patients that had longer waiting times in the hospital were less likely to come back for their meetings or their appointments. And that makes sense, right? So it's like if you're spending a lot of time in the hospital sitting down, you're getting attended to, you might not want to come back. People within a certain age were less likely to show, like within the age of 13 and 14, were less likely to show for their appointments versus like people within the age of like 63 and 69. So people that were older showed up more for their appointment. So, I mean, being able to actually visualize this information and present this to like a hospital is really important to them so that they can properly prepare accordingly. So for this project, I was able to know like what kind of patients would miss their appointments. I was able to create a mechanism to help hospitals think of better ways to target those patients. I was able to create a way of hospitals to actually know how best to prepare for their patients. So in the final notes, in terms of use cases of data science, there's so many applications of data science today. Like I just gave you six industries, and within those industries, there's also multiple projects, multiple use cases that we did not get to highlight, but that exist, right? And so the ability or the predictive nature of like machine learning of data science, it goes through all field, and it's very, very important today. And finally, anywhere data is collected, anywhere, data science can be applied. So you can think about data that has gone for multiple years, information that have been collected from like the beginnings of times. If it's data, we can draw insight and we can run some predictive analysis, machine learning on them. So finally, we're in module 5. And in this module, I'm just going to deal with the different resources that will be useful for a data scientist. I found these resources to be helpful for me on my data science journey. And I hope that it will be helpful for you. So the first resource is to think about having a form of weekly newsletter that you subscribe to. So here are some examples, right? So you have Data Elixir. It's a carefully curated data science and news and resources. And so it provides data science news, what is going on within the industry, what data scientists are thinking about to you. So this is a way to just keep abreast. O'Reilly Data Newsletter is more business focused. For those people who don't want to deal with the technicalities of things, but want us to be aware of the business impact of data science, you should definitely check it out. We have Python Weekly, which is Python news and resources. So like I said, I'm more biased towards using Python for data science projects. So a way to see how Python actually works is essential. Data science courses are really important. one of the discussions that we had in the last class was looking at the path to become a data scientist, and actually taking data science courses is key. So Coursera has the data science specialization, which is a 9-course series plus a capstone project that is taught in R. And so this is actually taught by my alma mater, Johns Hopkins University. And so it's a way to be able to analyze information and be able to work on interesting projects and connect with people all over the world. Springboard is an online tutorial bootcamp that teaches people in data science and also provides a mentor for you. Stanford University's statistical learning is a course that is focused on machine learning that helps students build their data science algorithm experience. California Technologies Learning from Data course is focused on machine learning in general, and it gives you that introduction to machine learning. The course that I would request everyone to check out, to me, this is the Bible of machine learning, the basics. Is the Coursera Machine Learning course by Andrew Ng, which is taught in MATLAB or Octave. But aside from the language in itself, they teach the fundamental concepts of machine learning, and I loved taking the class. I have my certificate on my LinkedIn, and it was a really great experience. Going into resources, like I told you, I'm a Python guy, so I think building up your Python expertise will serve you a really long way in data science, especially since Python is known to be the language of choice for data scientists. So Code Academy has a Python 3 course. It contains beginner materials, including a lot of exercises that you don't have to run on your computer, but you can run online. You have Data Quest, which is a website that's focused on teaching Python as it relates to data science. There's the Google's Python class. There's a little bit more advanced, but includes hours of useful lecture videos and exercises. And finally, there's a Python for everybody. The same way we have this Data Science 101, designed for people without any programming experience. In terms of books, there's so many books within the data science field that I think is essential. This is just some of them that I will highlight. So, an introduction to statistical learning. So it's just an introduction to machine learning. It's a really good book. The Element of Statistical Learning, which is more mathematically rigorous introduction to machine learning. Like we talked about previously, is that the mathematics behind data science is statistics. So being able to understand those fundamentals is key. Open Interest Statistics is a online open source textbook that you can learn the basics of statistics. Python for everybody, as it says, is a beginner course Python book. And you also have Python for data analysis, which teaches you the different ways to manipulate data within Python, and it allows a beginner to get up to speed in terms of analyzing, crunching, wrangling data. Finally, I'm a podcast guy, so I love listening to podcasts, and I think podcast is a great way to get introduced into machine learning and data science without it not being too technical, and it gives you an understanding of data science or like machine learning in a way that is very introductory. So the machine learning guide by O.C. Deval is a great resource. I've listened to this so many times. It has helped me in terms of understanding different algorithms that are used within data science. And also Deval provides a lot of resources also within the machine learning field that is actually very useful as you go on your journey. And the Super Data Science podcast deals with a lot of information, a lot of application of data science within the field, and it's a great way for people to actually see the use case and application of data science. So I would definitely recommend them. So with all of this being said, we've been able to come to the end of this course. So we've been able to evaluate data science in business. We took a long tour looking through the different use cases of data science. And finally, we went through some resources in data science. So I hope this has been really, really helpful for you. I hope this would encourage you to start your journey within the data field and realize the impact and importance of this. So this is the end of the course. You can connect with me at dotundata on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find my website at www.dotunopasina.com. And feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I hope that after leaving this course, you take data science more seriously. You begin to think about how it can be used within your business or how you can use it on a day-to-day basis. So thank you very much, and I wish you the best of luck on your data journey. Thanks.